Okay, sorry. .com.
Get the Glaive.
That's not what Zardoz is like, so you're dumb.
Eagle people.
It was a choice they made.
I kind of want to put a scope on a tiger.
I need bum cigarette for beer.
Yay.
Oh, okay.
Begged his mom for ferrets.
And I hate Smurfs.
One universal ferret.
I'm going to have to go with Unguent, Ben.
I am glistening right now.
Broadcasting live from inside the Power Band. This is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, Mulvey Claus, along with my holiday friends, Jar Kringle.
Hello.
And Orange Sassy Santa.
My Christmas tree's already down, bro.
Okay, sorry. .com.
Sorry, my Brucemas poll. My 1/20th scale Brucemas Nakatomi Plaza is already down.
Wow. It's merciless.
So it's Mulverine, Jarhigo, and C-Lab Forever.
Yeah, our boring original names. I'm not even a sassy squirrel this time. I'm just a C-Lab Forever.
Bah humbug people out there.
Hi.
That's right, folks. This week on the podcast, we're talking about the delicious 80s classic, The Beastmaster, starring Mark Singer, Rip Torn, John Amos, and Tanya Roberts. Let's start the show.
And Rip Torn's nose prosthetic.
And his weird teeth.
That too.
I don't know what's going on with his teeth. I don't know.
Rip Torn looked like he was dressed to play a live-action version of Gargamel, but with, like, little pigtails.
Ooh, man, he literally looked like Gargamel in this. You're right. Nice call, dude.
He really did.
He kind of looks like Gargamel, who kind of had a love child with the Num Shivai heart-ripping dude from Temple of Doom.
Ooh, yes. I like that. That's even more accurate. I love how that's the guy's name now.
Galema! Well, whatever. Whatever is fucking him.
Dare I even to go here? What is your high level of this movie?
My high level is I love everything about this train wreck of a movie. I don't know if I'd ever seen it, maybe in its... I think it's probably more accurate to say I don't know I've ever seen it in its totality, considering how much it was fabled to be on the HBOs and TBSs of the world. I'm sure I've seen bits of it, but I kind of got it confused for like a Krull. So I don't think I'd ever seen it.
Which would be an easy mistake to make.
Yeah, I mean, when he whipped out that fucking switchblade thing, I was just like, the Glaive! But, you know.
Totally.
The caber.
But it is not a glaive. It is a caper.
And my only other high-level thought is this is what I wanted Zardoz to be, and kind of why I was grumpy about Zardoz. So, fight me.
Ouch. Oh, poor Zardoz, man. Zardoz doesn't like you anymore.
Yeah, well.
You have earned his ire.
Well, that's not what Zardoz is like, so you're dumb.
You're dumb.
Ben, what is your high level on this movie?
Yeah.
Was this like a worn out VHS for you, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
It is rumored that HBO stands for Hey Beastmaster's on, because back in the day, Beastmaster was in heavy rotation. But nonetheless, I think this is one of the ones that like I actually sat and pressed record on the old VHS. So.
My God, I spit hot coffee all over my face. Oh my God.
You might as well just plow through it here, Benny. It'll take him a few minutes to recover.
I'm trying.
Keep going, Jesus Christ. That was so funny, man.
I haven't seen it in a very long time. It's been ages and ages. I don't think I've seen it since the 1,000 times I watched it as a kid. It was entertaining. It was funny. It was cheesy. There was an ungodly amount of male side ass in this movie.
There was a lot of male side ass.
Lots of side
a lot
ass.
Of ass in this movie.
Tons of side ass. Like every costume was designed to showcase, like for whatever reason, I don't know who the costume designer was, and we should probably figure that one out. But that person definitely had a healthy obsession with side ass.
It was a lot to accentuate the glutes and the thighs.
I think James Cameron's dad was actually the costume guy in this one.
Even the kid's costume had side ass. It was just
it did.
Yeah.
Uncalled for.
Did James Cameron's dad come out of the shitter to do this movie, Chad?
Yes, yeah, he came out of retirement. He was retired in the shitter.
He wasn't actually taking a shit on the shitter. He was drawing up. He was sketching up some ideas for costumes for this movie.
Ooh, there you go. There you go. He was writing it. He was sketching it on toilet paper in the shitter.
No, on the wall. He was like he had a Sharpie.
Even better. In the Georgetown Mall.
What the idea of him sitting there with like a nice heavy tooth paper pad and some colored pencils and practicing those techniques that he learned in fashion school. So I don't even know if I need to finish my high level there, but
please finish. Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything else to add. It was definitely a fun watch. I think the movie maybe has like 3 or 4 too many endings, but
it's like a Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah. Other than that, though, it was a pleasant watch for the most part.
It's a very pleasant watch. A lot of nostalgia. My recollection of this film and what I watched the last couple of nights were 2 very different things, as you can imagine. This was definitely a worn-out VHS situation for me when I was younger. And then, of course, hey, Beastmaster's on HBO later.
Or TBS, the Beastmaster station.
Yeah, or TBS, the Beastmaster station. Oh, that's what that stands for?
We got a giddy one today, Benny.
We do.
I'm excited for the Kev Spaz outs if we've got a giddy Wolverine.
Well, unfortunately, with the falling asleep during the watching this movie, I was not able to take the insane amount of super extensive notes to the tune of like 8 pages. But I just still did take notes, so you may get your wish.
Nice.
That being said, I remember this movie as being awesome. In reality, it's kind of awesome and terrible at the same time.
Yeah.
Ben kind of said it all. I mean, you both kind of said it all. I don't remember if this came out before Conan the Barbarian or not, but
3 months.
Oh, really? 3 months. Okay. So, it's kind of very akin to Conan, but this was actually based off a novel, believe that or not. And I know that I don't think they stayed very close to the novel, but at any rate, yeah, a lot of goofy nonsense, but they were really going for the gold with this, and there's a lot of redeeming qualities, kind of looking at it with my 2020 eye.
You only have one eye?
My other eye is looking at it as I was a kid watching it.
Oh, yeah, right.
It was just amazing,
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. There's a lot of one of the funny things about this movie, just to kind of segue into it, is that like it's Ben made the comment about the side ass, and it's like it's very sort of male misogynistic, but yet at the same time, there's some sex for everybody in this movie. So you've got Tanya Roberts, whose clothes are just falling off in every single scene, and she's not really wearing much of anything to begin with. And then you've got glistening Mark Singer for all the gals, who's really not wearing anything at all except a loincloth and a gauntlet for the eagle.
He's very much the glistening person you were talking about when we were chatting about Die Hard, for sure.
Oh, no doubt. I noted 3 levels of glistening that occur throughout this film.
Hey, man, swinging your sword around on the top of a mountain can make you a bit sweaty,
Well, swinging a log around, because you got to have your training with logs.
Especially if you've already covered yourselves in unguents and salves and
unguents
and oils
of Olay.
of Olay. Okay,
I don't know. I'm dead.
Yeah, you're dead. You dead, bro.
If I had seen this when I was 10, I would have worshipped it, but alas, I didn't. So. I really enjoyed it this time around, but I kind of wish I could go back in time and sneak the videotape out of the video store for my younger self.
Yeah, I think this is a quintessential 10-year-old viewing.
And they were saying that the director went out of his way to get a PG rating for this so that kids could see it. And I am so amazed that if they did get a PG rating, that it got that, because there's boobs, there's like kind of horror-y stuff, like. That's just like the most hardcore PG movie I've ever seen.
No doubt. You got to remember, Chad, the definition of PG in the 80s was very different than it is now.
Like, I like that. I like that he wanted to make kind of a movie for kids that he would have liked if he was a kid, when he was a kid. Like, I respect that, but I'm amazed that they got that rating.
Wow, it is PG. Holy shit.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you confirmed it, because that just blows my mind.
Look at that. It was all based on blood, because really that was what he went out of his way to do, was to,
make it not bloody.
Yeah, Mark Singer's, sticks his sword in, 100 guys, if not 200 in this movie, and it never comes away with blood on it, so.
No, but at the same time, you've got, like, some sweet boobies, which as a 10-year-old you'd be stoked for, and then, like, Rip Torn throwing children into fires. Like, how is that PG? Like, what the fuck? It's amazing.
I know, and I think...
And then there's the Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's the Batman, right? And then you've got...
You brought the Batman up, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
I just killed myself.
Yeah.
And I super died because when I went to do Michael Caine, that's what came out of my mouth. It was so far off that I can't even... I've never tried it out loud before, so apparently I just can't do that one.
You're dead, man.
Wow.
That was a major Batman implosion. I buried too many Batmans. What were you saying, Kev? We steamrolled you, bro.
So to finish, in my mind, the most egregious sort of violation of this alleged PG rating was Mark Singer basically date raping Tanya Roberts right when he meets her. I was like, wow, that's really intense, man. He just kind of went in there, and then he was just like, yeah, I think I'm going to make out with you now. And then he starts making out with her. I was like, okay. It was awkward.
It was pretty rough.
For sure.
Quite rough.
Yeah, definitely rough.
But was fully 1982 cinema, though. Like, that kind of bullshit seems to be pretty common in those days.
Yeah, right. The filmmaker was like, what's the problem? He didn't slap her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Whoa, all right.
He didn't punch her. What is the pedigree on this movie? I forgot to look up the pedigree information about this movie. Is it...
Doubled its money. It had an $8 million budget. I was trying to figure out if it was ultra low budget or how it kind of fared, and I couldn't really find anything in the neighborhood of the $8 million in the surrounding years. The closest I could find was Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan with an $11 million budget. But everything else, like the Conans and all that kind of stuff, had like 20-ish, 20 plus, or even 16. So like almost everything had double the budget of this movie.
Right. Well, I remember Over the Top had a $16 to $20 million budget because they offered Sly like $10 million. I think we ruminated about that in the Over the Top episode. So it's
sorry.
No, I was just going to say that would not classify it as a quote low budget movie, even for the 80s.
I mean, it was lower than anything I could find of the similar genre or of the era. It doesn't mean it was ultra low, but it was lower than some of the other stuff out there. And I kind of feel like the low budget nature, you can kind of see it in the movie, but also it kind of seems scrappy. And like I kind of had respect for the scrappiness of it because it doubled its money. So
it did double its money. And I like what you said. I mean, you could see where the money went. I mean, they had like so much animal work going on and
miniature stuff,
like the costuming, lots of horses,
a lot of black dye for those tigers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a lot of black dye for the tiger.
A lot of tigers to replace all the dying tigers.
Yeah, I mean the battle scenes. There were some pretty large battle scenes, and the sets were, pretty damn good, man. Some of the miniatures too. The miniatures were good too. So. They definitely put the energy into it, and I appreciated that for sure. I think the goofiness comes in just like the kind of the acting and the script, the dialogue, whatever. But like even the quote eagle men, like they clearly put a lot of energy into that. They couldn't get exactly what they want. I mean, honestly, when I was a kid, I never got or understood that they were like eagle people. They were just like these creepy sort of zombie things that ate you like a fly.
I still think they're Batmen.
But, they definitely put the energy into it. And I think you could see that. I'm trying to give this some merit. And the props were really good too, I believe they saved money on blood and fight choreography because the fight choreography was terrible.
And on fabric on the sides of everyone's clothing.
Yes, fabric.
25% of the costuming budget right there.
Dude, the fight scenes were just
dreadful.
Holy shit, they were bad. It was so funny.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. Starting with, and we can segue into the beginning of the film with that, the opening battle after he, chucks the stick for the dog, and then he kind of looks up. I love how he looks at the dog. He's like, stupid dog. And he goes back to tilling the earth. And I love how they're just sort of tilling like a random section of earth out in the middle of the plains of wherever the hell it is that they live.
Whatever 3-letter word they've used to describe the area.
Exactly, yeah. Stilt world,
I like that Mark Singer puts on more clothes than he ever does in the movie for work.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to work. I'm going to put this tunic on.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this shawl on. It's like a shawl that's half shirt tucked into his belt.
I wouldn't want to stain my leather hula skirt. I'm gonna put that aside.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't want to do that. So, when we get into the battle in the beginning, I mean, it's all. I mean, firstly, the dad played by Ben Hammer, who is great. Like he takes his sword out, he goes up to square off against the Jun horde. And every time they did a shot,
I cracked up at that.
They did a shot from behind. It was clearly a different actor altogether, which I thought very humorous. And then I love how he draws the line in the sand, and then they just run him over with the horses, and he doesn't do a thing.
They just fucking trample the shit out of him.
It's so terrible.
Oh, that was great. I was like, all right, he's going to line up and do his old defense technique. Nope, he's gone. Okay.
Like, I'm going to take half of you with me.
I just cracked up at this, like, what the fuck's up with the stilt houses? All these houses are on stilts. I was like, okay, they're all on stilts, right? And then I'm like, surely there's going to be some weird shit that these houses need to be on stilts. It's like, nope, okay, okay. Anyways.
None whatsoever.
No, they're not in like a floodplain or anything like that.
Nothing. This is like a guy pushes one of them over. I have a note that was like, oh god, hang on, I'm gonna die finding it. But it was like the fuel tank in one of the stilt houses. Like the dude pushes one over and it like hits the ground and blows up like a fucking giant barrel of fucking Type 4 amphibious fuel. It's like, where did that come from?
Nothing like a giant gasoline explosion in fantasy medieval times.
Out of a stilt house. It's just like, but that's what I kind of love about this. Like, I kind of like just the tiniest high level circle back. This, I think, takes itself seriously, or it's trying to tell a fantasy story. And like my reaction to this is the same as my reaction to Ice Pirates before I figured out it was a comedy. I was like, okay, cool. They're like really low budget cheese dick sci-fi. And I thought Ice Pirates was taking itself seriously for a few minutes, and kind of because I was being an idiot. And I love that these guys were. I love that they were like really going for the fantasy sword and sandal trope. Like, it was cool.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, they went for it, man.
Going serious or going for the humor of it. Like the end result really isn't all that.
It was very similar. Yeah, I enjoyed it in a similar way. Totally.
I enjoy the weird, I don't know, rotoscoping effect or whatever it was that they employed whenever the Jun horde was on its way.
Oh yeah,
It
in
was
the
supposed
background.
to look like, I don't know what it was supposed to look like dust being kicked up in the distance or something. But that, and I don't know where they got all the ketchup packets, but man, the Jun horde brings some ketchup to a fight. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I think the bloodiest scene was the beginning scene.
Definitely.
I've got to whoa you though, because I lost it when that witch fucking went to assassinate the king and like walked a cow into the tent. I was just like, what? I always bring a cow to my assassinations, and then she like fucking poured lava lamp juice all over the two of them, and it was just like so good, dude. The action sequence around the fire, oh god, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I jumped ahead going straight to Dar the Plowboy with the dog. Because there's a lot.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to play-by-play it, but like those first couple of action-y sequences just really set you up to like enjoy the ride, just like the extension ladder in Ice Pirates did.
And I know we don't, and I don't want to play by play, but definitely want to go chronologically because
Sure.
there's a lot of gold in here. So I'm going to try to restrain myself as well. So yeah, the beginning battle is just dreadful. And then it ends on an extremely touching note. And I thought it was really touching that, I mean, it was kind of weird that he like piled the bodies up in the symbol of the village, but then I liked how he had the dad and then he took the dog and put the dog on top of the dad and then put the arm over the dog. Like, I was like, that's touching. I thought that was cool. Just try to keep it up into the upper cloud levels if I can.
I thought it was cool that the village symbol was like the no-do sign.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Do not.
Do not.
I didn't pick up on that, but that's hilarious.
Oh, it was a circle with a line through it. So I guess if you viewed it at an angle, it would look like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying I'm bright. I just didn't pick up on it.
So after the no-go sign, people body burning situation, Dar grabs his tiara. He grabs his tiara, his dad's sword, takes his shirt off. Sorry, takes off his shawl / Afghan, and we're off and running. He meets the eagle at this point as well.
We're literally off and running. He's like prancing through the desert.
Yeah, and we know that he has, we kind of skipped over it, but we know that he, through the mark from the witch, he has the powers to commune with the beasts of the world and perhaps even master them.
I thought that was because he was born of a cow.
Yeah, I thought so too. He's a cow baby.
Why bother, if I can just jump back for a second and ask this question, why bother transferring the baby using some sort of weird magic from the woman into the cow only to take the baby out of the cow later? Like, why not just go straight to the source and take the baby right out of the woman? Like, that made no sense to me at all.
Maybe that's the PG thing.
Okay. All right. I can get down with that.
I just like I'm just spitballing here, but I love that she walked a cow into the fucking tent. So,
oh, it was great. The lava lamp juice was even better.
But it wasn't. You make a good. That's like I wouldn't even classify that as a gripes of Kev because I agree with it. I tend to not agree with the weird gripes of Kev, so I don't know. But why would you transfer a baby, then take the cow, then slice the baby out of the cow, then brand the baby, and then kill the baby? Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, look, I mean, I have plenty of gripes about this movie that fall dead center in the produced by the gripe engine. You know what I mean? That is not one of them, though. That's like just logic. Like, it made no sense at all. But I mean, if we're going off Ben's comment, then maybe that is where he got his powers to commune with animals.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I don't know I don't know what the brand did too. We never mentioned that in the beginning in terms of like the egregious things that happen in this PG movie is we get a baby getting branded on their hand.
Right? That's totally fine. No big deal.
That's fine.
Speaking of bad fight scenes, the fight scene between Ben Hammer and the witch when he stumbles upon her and rescues Dar, that was pretty bad.
Dude, it was so bad. It was great. It was just terrible.
It really was.
I love that when the witches get killed, they sort of disappear like Ben
Obi-Wan
Kenobi and
Jedi style
with laughter, cackling laughter.
Star Wars death for me and Chad.
One thing I didn't notice viewing when I was a child was that the witches were seemingly like bikini models wearing prosthetic faces.
It's pretty bizarre.
I know, wasn't that great? Because I forgot what the witches looked like in the first glimpse we see of the witch is like toes all the way up to face. And, I mean, I knew there was a lot of like, nudity and revealing shots in this movie. So as we're panning up the witch, it's like...
You get your first glimpse of side ass.
I was like, wow, okay. And then like you get up to the face and I was just like, oh, dear.
Yeah, that was the direction they went in. It was a choice they made.
Yeah, they're like, let's prank all the viewers. It'll be funny.
That was a choice, all right.
It was an interesting one.
Yeah, right. I'm just trying to think if anything else happens like up at the front there that's noteworthy. No, except for that one of the only time. The only thing noteworthy up there in the front is it's one of the only times that the Kepa gets actually thrown, because despite the coolness of that weapon and its Krullness as well, it really only gets thrown or chucked rather 3 or 4 times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a super cool kind of boomerang, Glaive-esque weapon. And I mean, to me, certainly growing up watching this, any weapon like that you could throw that was bladed was like the coolest thing on the face of the planet. So it was kind of a bummer that it only got thrown a few times, and it wasn't like his main sort of bag, aside from the animals.
I had forgotten all about it, how little they used it in the movie. But not as cool as the glaive from Krull.
No.
No doubt.
But still pretty cool.
It would have been pretty cool if they stuck like a Snake Pliskin scope on it or something. Then it might have been pretty cool.
Well, you stick a scope like that on anything, you're going to make it even cooler.
Fair enough.
Let's be real here.
You had to put the scope on the silencer.
Yeah. I kind of want to put a scope on a tiger. Just like set him on. Yeah. I don't know. Just put scopes on everything.
So a scope on a tiger's head?
I was kind of thinking like a saddle with like a scope mounted on it, because this is completely pointless. You look through the scope and you're just looking at the fucking cat's ears, but it looks cool.
Right.
Does the tiger go like where you're looking through the scope?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it like a
You just
sniper rifle that way? It's like you look through the scope and I don't know, slap the tiger on the butt or something, and it just goes running towards the...
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
You look through it, you slap it on its tiger butt, get a little bit of black dye in your hands, and off it goes.
Yeah. Lots of black dye, apparently.
Yeah, lots of it. I like the idea of putting scopes on everything. It's in a whole saddle for the tiger-mounted one.
Just for a scope, yeah. Not for anything other than holding a scope.
That's some gold right there.
Before we go beyond it, just the scene where Ben Hammer's training young Dar to throw the Kepa, and he throws it at that dude and takes his hat off, and he's like,
right?
You old fool! It was like, I laughed out loud at that.
Dude, if you threw a fucking glaive at me, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, what the fuck, man? That's my favorite jester's cap or whatever the fuck stuck to that tree. These are like poverty-stricken farmers. He's like, I've had that hat since I was 7. You just fucking ruined it teaching your little toddler to throw a goddamn switchblade. Come on, man.
And they think it's so funny, too. They're like,
yeah,
laughing around.
Exactly. Him and the kid are like, ah, ha, ha.
Gave that fucker a haircut, didn't we, son? Yeah, Dad.
I don't blame the guy for being indignant about it, but,
No, he should have been pissed. I mean, it's like the worst day of the guy's life. He gets pulled into the bushes by a giant bear after
But that's the best bit. The best bit is that, like, the resolution of the conflict is he gets ripped into the woods by a giant Russian bear. Like, instead of being like, sorry about that, Jimmy. It's just like, oh, wait, nope, now he's dead.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And I love that the bear is Russian, Chad.
He is Russian. Evidently, he was the only working bear in Hollywood. He was a Russian bear.
Get out of here. Is that a nugget?
Yeah, I swear to God, dude. I did some digging. I don't know if it's a nugget, but like evidently there was only one working bear in Hollywood at the time, and it was like an old Russian bear. So it's like I thought that was pretty funny.
Wow, that is pretty cool.
I need bum cigarette for beer.
You have a pump? I need to inflate my ball I balance around on.
Oh, Dar, give me cigarette.
I'm just imagining the beer not doing its job, like just refusing to perform the scene, and the trainer just being like, "Give me one cigarette for beer."
Speaking of forest friends that smoke, let's just touch on the scene.
You know those ferrets fucking smoked.
Let's just touch on the scene where Dar sort of forms up his superpowers team up of and becomes a Beastmaster mastermind.
Yeah, the Captain Planet of animals.
Totally. So he gets the hawk at the end of the
City of Heroes reference
at the at the slaughter, and then he finds as he falls into the quicksand pit. Firstly, this movie has a very Lothar of the Hill People kind of vibe to it, and I couldn't stop thinking about that when I was watching this movie, so...
Totally.
You guys remember Lothar of the Hill People?
Do not get me started. I, too, walk with a woman.
You rascals! You have stolen my underpants. I will chase you now. And then he falls into the quicksand, and then we get Kodo and Podo. Yay.
Wait. You're glossing over one of the best things, which is that every 10-year-old kid on planet Earth that had access to a movie like Beastmaster was constantly prepping for quicksand scenarios. And they put one in this movie.
Oh, dude. Totally.
I remember having mud clod or like dirt clod fights with my buddies in King of the Hill and running around in the woods. And it was always like, okay, what happens if we find quicksand, guys?
Oh, yeah.
The silliest, stupidest shit ever. And I love they went there.
No, they did. And you're right about that, Chad. And I didn't even think about that, but it's true. And it's also like, I remember after seeing all of these films that had the quicksand in it, I was terrified of quicksand for the entirety of my youth. And like we would do the same thing. So, out in the woods, whatever, what happens if we find quicksand? And I was always mortified that.
Still haven't found any.
Get stuck in it, man. I still have never found it. Is it even a real thing?
I have no idea.
I thought you were going to say every kid begged his mom for ferrets after that.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say too, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's also true.
I'll bet ferret sales went through the roof after this movie.
Yeah, and oil of Olay. Just want to reinforce my death a bit there.
Yeah, reinforce your terrible joke. That was great.
Hey, man, if it doesn't work once, I'll say it again.
I don't know if it was connected, but I did have friends that had a couple different friends that had ferrets. So
let's just say it was connected.
I think it probably was.
It was definitely connected.
It had to be. There was always like that. Was one or two kids in school that were like, "Yeah, and I don't have a dog. I have a ferret," and everybody would be like, "Ooh," because it was so different and strange, exotic.
I might be sniping here, but from what I read about the animal handler stuff, you can't really train ferrets. So there's like a dozen ferrets in this, and they would just like hide food around the place so that they would run where they wanted them to run. I thought it was interesting.
Is that right?
I thought the ferrets were pretty smart, so maybe they just don't give a shit.
That is very interesting.
But the way I heard it was that they have like specific ferrets trained to do specific things.
Oh, okay.
But they had case specific ferrets instead of like one universal ferret,
Right.
They have like the ferret that they, trained to get the keys and, the other ferret that they, yeah. So that was how I understood it.
Gotcha. That makes way more sense.
Ferrets trained to pretend to look like they're chewing through the ropes.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the ferrets that only ride in the 6 demon bag that looks like it's from Gucci or whatever with like the clasps on it.
Totally. He throws those ferrets around, man.
He does, man. But his 6 demon bag is like it's got like a nice strap and like some nice metal clasps on it. I was like, I think that's a small. I mean, this is definitely a gripe of Kev right here, but it definitely had that kind of Gucci look or at least a knockoff look, like a Prado instead of Prada.
Totally making a fake Gucci ad for this podcast that features Mark Singer and his Gucci bag.
Great idea. Yes, please do it.
All right. I think what it might be, though, Kev, is it is, in fact, like a $7,000 Prada bag, but they just turned it inside out, so it kind of looks like rough leathery and stuff,
Oh, I could totally see that. Yes,
Yeah.
That is highly probable.
I like it. I didn't pay that much attention to his bag, if I'm honest, but I appreciate the gripe.
You know me. I can't wait to see this meme that Ben is going to make for the show.
I barely noticed the bag because I just couldn't keep my eyes off the side ass. It just
It enticed you.
demanded all of my attention.
Yeah. Between that, the quicksand, and him side ass glistening, swinging swords from, tops of mountains with helicopter shots and stuff, like, I wasn't paying attention to the bag.
The meme should be like, him posing with the bag and then saying something like, "Whenever I'm following the Jun horde."
And Photoshop like a weird yellow blob in the background.
Exactly.
Yes, just a weird distortion of the image in the background.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Kev, I imagined you had a gripe of Kev in the part where I think this is right around, the time he discovers Kodo and Podo, but when he's running through the river, swinging his sword around.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have a specific gripe about that.
I just imagined that you're like, that's not safe.
He could slip.
It's really unsafe. Be running around with a sword like that.
That would fall into the subcategory called the safety gripes. Safety gripes of Kev. Yeah, that was definitely unsafe.
That segment's called Safety Third with Kev.
Yeah, safety third I got from you.
I know, but you can have it.
Thank you. Yeah, that was very unsafe. And I got to say that a lot of his training, his solo training, was very unsafe and very pointless to boot. It was really more about making him glisten and showing off his muscles and his side butt.
I've got a nugget actually on that.
My God.
There's a 1 hour and 45-minute podcast interview with Mark Singer that came out a few months back.
Really?
It's only got like 700 views, so it's very obscure, and I might have watched it at like 2x because I was curious. And at one point, he talks about that scene with swinging his sword while running through a river and how the director was like, hey man, can you go over there and just like run up and down the river and swing your sword around a bit? And he's like, yeah, hang on, let me just think about it for a minute. And they were like, dude, you don't need to think about it, just fucking swing your sword around and run up and down the river. And then he was just like it was a really cool interview, and it was really great to see these guys like stoked about him and stuff. But he was sharing some like really heartfelt kind of anecdotes, and this was one where he was just like, and so I decided that I was going to run down the river and try and slice the drops that were splashing from my feet, so that there was some intention behind it. And it was like, yeah, right on, dude.
Huh. Wow, that is actually pretty cool. It's really cool, actually.
Just like in like a method acting, or maybe not method acting, but in like a figuring out how to do this and kind of sense, it was cool. Like he was really genuine and heartfelt throughout the whole interview. But it's interesting that you mentioned that scene specifically.
Well, you know what? If they remade this movie and you put that sort of element into it, you could totally make something very cool where it is like he's trying to slice the drops of the water. Like that's actually really cool. Because that's the sort of thing you would see in like in a really good like Hong Kong action movie, you know, like a Jet Li, Donnie Yen kind of situation, you know?
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm not surprised. Like, he always seemed like a very heartfelt guy, and he always put everything into it. That's one thing you love about Singer, man, you know? Not to digress too much on Mark Singer, but like he was always like super committed and to the project as well as the role, you know, when he was doing it. Like, he was amazing in V, you know, and I don't know, he's just great.
I wasn't super familiar with him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew him from that and V, but you know, he was so committed to this that he ended up doing 2 more sequels, which I'm going to say we've got to try to do at some point, man.
Maybe we do both in one.
I've never seen either of them.
There's a show too.
Yeah, I know, but the show didn't have him in it. The other 2 sequels did, if my memory is on point, which it lately has not been.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, the raindrop slicing the drops of water. That was very unsafe. And it was very like, it was just like all of his training was just kind of like, I mean, hearing that he was trying to slice the drops of water, like that makes it different hearing it. But, you know, it's very much like when he's running with the log, you know, in the desert. He jumps up onto the top of that rock and he's like, "Roar!" And then he starts swinging it around. That's when the glistening begins.
Is this pre-Commando? It must be.
Oh yeah, this is pre-Commando.
Because I kind of want to say that like the log swing in this and the log on shoulder in Commando are some pretty epic log scenes.
I agree. In the pantheon of log scenes, this is up there too.
We got to get John Amos in here at some point.
Yeah, that's all I keep thinking is when do we get to Cleo McDowell?
It's probably a good time for that, really.
Wait, hold on. There's something very important that has to happen first. Okay, so we got to finish out the animal scene because 5 feet down the road after he gets out of the quicksand with the 2 ferrets, we meet the black panther that's really a tiger dyed black. And I want to hear you both pronounce the name of the tiger.
I can't remember.
Because it's really funny. It's spelled R-U-H.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'll bet I know Ben can do it.
Like, is it like a roux, like when Ben was going off about the saucier in Apocalypse Now? That's kind of how I would say it.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
I have no idea.
Wow, man. I'm a little disappointed in you nerds.
I I was trying to look up the names of the other animals, and I could not find anything.
Well, it was Frodo, Bilbo, and Roo, right?
I just found the same stories that were claiming that the tigers died from being dyed.
They died from being dyed?
True.
No, yeah, that was...
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, the names of the animals in the film, the eagle has no name. And then we got Kodo and Podo, and then we got the tiger.
Yeah, I didn't know the tiger had a name.
Roo. That's the tiger's name. Roo.
Yeah, he only says it a couple of times, if not just the one time.
He does, but he really, really does the most beautiful pronunciation of the name in the very first time. I was super impressed that he put that much energy into it.
Same again in that interview. He talks a lot about how he became really good buddies with the tiger, and the tiger handler was like, "Yo, stay away from that thing. It's gonna fucking kill you, bro." And he's like, "No, man, I've got a good vibe with this thing." It's like, cool.
He was like, "I don't know if you know this, but I'm the Beastmaster." Can't do singer, but
he was saying that like he studies kung fu and he studied crane and tiger style, and he's like, I know tiger style kung fu, so I felt like I had a bit of a connection. It was like, yeah, whatever floats your boat, dude. I really liked it. It was worth checking out, man. The guy's just such a genuine dude.
Totally, I'm gonna check that out for sure. I don't think that tiger style kung fu.
Me neither, but I like how seriously he
protects you or
from a tiger.
Will sort of. Yeah, preclude you from getting mauled by a tiger, trained or otherwise.
I propose a very brief cul-de-sac because it's fitting here, where friend of the show, Werner Herzog, has that documentary Grizzly Man. Have either of you guys seen that one?
No, I didn't know he was a friend of the show either.
He's totally a friend of the show. Have you ever seen that one, Benny?
Boy, I wish Werner Herzog was a friend of the show. He would just call in.
Me too.
That would be so amazing.
I can will it into existence, man.
Sorry, Chad, what was the name of the documentary again?
Grizzly Man. Have you ever seen that one, Benny?
No.
Okay, so the very, very brief synopsis is it's a like Herzog would do kind of feature films, really weird ones, and then documentaries kind of offset. And so this is a documentary from like I want to say like 2003 or 4 or something. But he follows this dude who's convinced that he can commune with grizzly bears in Alaska.
Oh, boy.
And let's just say it doesn't go very well. And it's a really good... it's a really good documentary. Like, I would highly recommend checking it out. But it is exactly like this, with Mark Singer being like, nah, man, I know kung fu. And it's just like, no, dude, it's a goddamn tiger, bro. Like, it's going to fuck you up if you make the wrong move. Anyways, cul-de-sac over.
The dude gets eaten, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Does the guy get eaten?
The Grizzly
in the
Man dude does, yeah. It's fucking,
what?
It's hectic. You should check out the documentary. It's really good.
That is really gruesome.
And it's Werner Herzog, so he's like Werner Herzog interviewing people. And it's perfect time to bring that up.
I was hoping that the grizzly would eat this man, and he did.
It's pretty much, man. Pretty much.
I haven't seen it, but I know deep down inside that's exactly that just encapsulates the entire documentary right there.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
And then that's him in an interview, and then at the end, after he says that, he goes, and then after that, we went and had Kodiak cakes for breakfast.
Oh boy!
End of the friend of the show, Werner Herzog cul-de-sac.
There you go. Sorry, I had to tie in the Kodiak cakes.
But yeah, Roo the tiger that his dye would wear off, and Roo was pretty funny. And that it was very shortly thereafter that Cleo McDowell entered the scene, I believe. The Dingleberries fucking tricked the tiger into a pit or something, right? The Jun Horde.
Yeah, the bald priests.
Oh, the priests. Yeah.
Here's Mark Singer saying the name.
Roo. Your name is Roo.
Riddle me this, guys, because I got confused. Are the Jun Horde connected to the priests at all? Because I kind of got confused thinking they were all one thing at first.
No, they're not. They're like, I don't really get it. They're like sort of loosely aligned with M.A.S.H. M.A.S.H.
I love that name, dude.
Not Max.
It's Max with an extra A. I pronounce it M.A.S.H.
I know. And I didn't get that or remember that. And then when somebody said, M.A.S.H., I was like, oh my God, really?
It's perfect.
Oh, so perfect.
As portrayed by Rip Torn.
Rip Torn. I love Rip Torn.
I was waiting for him to go, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Or something like that. Sacrifice these children to R.
Wherever it is that he gets banished to by Dar's dad in the beginning, apparently he has to share that land with the Jun Horde. So, apparently they formed some type of alliance, over the years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, combined with what Kev's saying, is that M.A.S.H, Max with an extra A, and the Jun Horde went into another dimension and formed a dodgeball team, in other words.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And thus Patches O'Houlihan was born.
They played dodgeballs with heads.
There you go. That's how the game of dodgeball was invented.
There you go. That's it.
All the severed heads from the various sacrifices.
I mean, to be fair, that temple that they throws the children into is very like Inca, Teca, or Mayan, and they had that head.
Oh, very much so.
Basketball game.
Head basketball kind of game.
Yeah, they had that whole thing going on. We're perilously close to a really weird cul-de-sac here.
Yeah, this is I was going to say this is very morbid.
Oh, whatever.
But hey,
I think it's fucking hilarious, but
I think it's hilarious too, Betty. It's all good, man. I was going to say that all right, you want me to go darker? I was going to say that the children's heads are the easier ones to throw because you can get your hands
Yeah, that's pretty dark, man.
them.
Okay, yeah. No wonder you wanted to change topics.
And that's how the game of dodgeball was invented.
And there you go.
that's just too far, Kev.
Yeah, Kev.
Oh, that's now I'm too far.
That's
Patches
disgusting,
O'Houlihan
Kev.
was actually he's a super descendant of M.A.S.H O'Houlihan, who is the priest in this movie. We never know. You don't know his last name
M.A.S.H O'Houlihan.
in the film, but that in the lore of the film, that's his last name.
For a split second there, I thought you were talking about the blonde lady from M.A.S.H.
No, that's Patches' great grandmother or grandmother.
Different Houlihan.
Oh, you're right. She's not an O'Houlihan. But anyway, M.A.S.H O'Houlihan, that's...
Well, that was one of those coming in on the ferry in New York style, changing the name things,
Totally.
She lost the O on her Houlihan.
Yeah, exactly. Because she didn't want people to think she was Irish.
That sounded really not PG. She lost the O on her Houlihan.
We just sort of like...
It's like
we just
it's like
degraded.
some weird euphemism for a sex act or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's Pinnacle level 3.
What, a Houlihan?
No,
Losing
taking the
the
O
O
off
on
your
your
Houlihan.
An O on your Houlihan? Jesus.
You're the one that was talking about throwing babies' heads around, you fucking sicko.
Hey, man, you guys were like, oh, it's not too dark. And then I say that, and you're like, Jesus, dude, what's wrong with you?
It wasn't dark until you dropped that one.
No, it was getting there. It was morbid.
It was a setup, Kev.
It was a setup, yeah.
Yeah, I know it was a setup.
I haven't heard a M.A.S.H reference in a long time, Benny. Thank you for that.
If you can dodge a head, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. Yeah, you can dodge a head, you can dodge a ball. So now we can talk about Cleo, McDowell, Ben, and Chad. Okay, so it's not really at this point, but skipping ahead, I don't think we're really missing anything major. We come across there's some the priests of M.A.S.H O'Houlihan are chasing Dar, and we get the tiger the panther, quote unquote, gets caught in the pit that they make, and a fight ensues and all that sort of thing, and then
Some more logs.
we meet Seth. Yeah, we meet Seth and Tal, who I thought was, for years until I saw it last night, I thought it was Meeno Peluce, who was the kid from Voyagers, that awesome time-traveling 80s show with Phineas Bogg.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
I can't remember the actor's name.
But it turns out what was it? Miko who?
Meeno Peluce was the kid's name, I'm pretty sure, from Voyagers. And I know that the lead actor on Voyagers was he was like a big up-and-coming leading man, and then he had a really tragic death. And that's subsequently why Voyagers ended as well.
But it turns out it wasn't Meeno Paluzzo, it was Enrico Palazzo. So that's, that's a deep cut there.
No, you know what that is? That's a death right there.
No, it's not, man. You can't give me a death for that. That's great.
No, I'm giving myself the death for getting the kid's name wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
No?
Yeah, no, that's fine. It was Enrico Palazzo. Enrico Palazzo.
That's what the kid's name was from Voyager, Chad?
No, dude, I was making a really deep cut Naked Gun reference where Frank Drebin comes out as the opera singer Enrico Palazzo.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Oh, say, can you see lots of bombs in the air?
That was it. My favorite part was the bombs in the air thing. Bunch of bombs in the air. Wow, this is great. Enrico Palazzo. I didn't get it.
That now you're definitely dead. You missed that one. I like it.
I know, and I'm dead, dude. No doubt. I didn't get it.
Because you laughed immediately when I said Enrico Palazzo. It's like, damn, dude, he got that reference fucking quick. But alas.
To be fair, I didn't know the exact reference, but I remembered the name and I knew it was connected to something funny. So
there you go. Close enough.
I thought I wasn't sure. The only thing I thought it could be was a name of like one of the three tenors.
Bringing culture to the pod, dudes. Oh, I just said the word pod. Oh my God, I'm fucking dead. Please mark down a death for me because I used the word pod. I fucking hate that word.
Oh, that's annoying, dude. Don't ever say that again.
It's not a pod. It's a fucking podcast. Ugh, I'm so disappointed in myself.
You should be. That was terrible. Okay, you got your pod death. We're racking up the deaths this week, folks. I'll tell you what.
We got some deaths. So McDougal's, Frankie McDowell, Herbie McDougan.
Huh?
John Amos.
Oh, Cleo McDowell.
Cleo McDowell.
Dude. You should be dead for that. That right there, dude.
Sure, go for it. Write it down.
God, you are so dead, man.
Start us off with Cleo McDowell, Benny. I loved that it was him.
What did you call him? You called him Yuby McDougal?
I just made up a bunch of names.
Yeah, there was a whole
cacophony.
Like you emptied the clip of a MAC-10 of bad name synonyms for Cleo McDowell, yeah.
Benny, it wasn't a MAC-10, it was a MiC-10.
Oh, that was tight.
I set you up for that one.
You did. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Come again.
Layup.
Oh my God, that was great.
So I have some theory craft for this. I think.
Ooh, nice.
I think the character Seth is actually Malcolm McDowell. Back in his college days, he did the stripper routine, and that was his side ass stripper costume that he was wearing there, and was putting himself through business school before he opened up McDowell's.
Totally, and that's where he got the idea for not putting seeds on the bun. There's no seeds on his buns.
That's right.
I'm with you all the way.
Those buns are smooth.
The smooth buns, man. You don't need any seeds in their buns.
Smooth buns. Oh man, John Amos. Just how do you not love John Amos? I'm so glad he was in this movie.
I was delighted to see John Amos.
Totally.
Come on.
And the horrible stick craft.
I had forgotten about him somehow, and when he showed up, I was just like, oh my God. Now it's an 80s movie. Now I've arrived.
I think, Ben, the only thing that would have made this even better is if when he met Dar and they were introducing themselves, if he had said, I'm going to try this. I don't know if it's going to go well or not because I've never done a John Amos impression. If he had introduced the kid, he's a prince. Can you believe that?
That's great.
Yes. Thank you for that.
I so want to see Seth and Akeem have a stick fight now.
Oh, shit.
Because it would be a good fight.
Yes. Wow.
I also love that we've decided to do this just as the first trailer for Coming to America 2 has been dropped.
I haven't seen it. Does it look good?
Oh.
I haven't watched it yet either.
Okay.
I'm kind of afraid. I don't want to ruin it for myself.
I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm afraid too, man.
I kind of want to go in cold.
That is one of my all-time most beloved films.
Such a good film. John Amos, gotta love him, dude. I was equally delighted here. And his stick craft was so bad, it was good.
He's a prince! Can you believe that? Oh, we hit the jackpot, baby! Oh my God. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. I can't stop thinking about Cleo. All right. Go ahead.
Cleo McDowell is just such an iconic character.
He really is, man.
It's hard not to associate John Amos with Cleo McDowell. It really is.
No, and I think when people think of John Amos, you think Good Times. I can't remember the character's name on Good Times, but iconic show from the 70s, 80s, and Cleo McDowell. Like those are his two, I think, biggest things. I could be wrong. Okay, so the introduction of Seth and Tal, who is the son of Zed, correct? And then the one thing that I found was odd was that there was never any connection made between Tal and Dar, because clearly they were brothers.
Yeah, but they would have been half brothers likely because Dar's mother died.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. Well, there is the little movie at the end where where Seth discovers that Dar is, actually the firstborn son. And it's like, you're the one that needs to take the throne. And Dar turns it down.
Maybe that's the part where he's like, he's a prince! Can you believe that?
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to come in there.
See how many times you can get that one in this one? I like it.
Maybe. That might be it. Okay. I don't remember that. Because my recollection was at the end, Dar was like telling the kid, like, go, like it's yours now. It's your decision to make. Like it's your kingdom to run. Like your father is dead and M.A.S.H, so Houlihan is dead.
So did you fall asleep before the end of the movie?
I fell asleep. Oh yeah. And then I watched the end.
Yeah, I think there's a death in there, bro.
This movie has a lot of endings, so
it has a lot of endings, and then I fell asleep, and then I woke up at 4 and finished it, and then fell asleep again.
Yeah. So you died because you fell asleep and didn't see the end of the movie, which is okay.
Pretty much, yeah. It was like a off mic death, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happens after we meet Seth? I mean, they form an alliance, obviously.
Yeah, and they go off to see the wizard and hide in a fucking hay bale later with some weird townsperson. We did blast through what's her name
with Sacco.
Oh, we blast through? Sorry, Chad. Blasted through the Eagles or Sacco or both?
We blasted through a lot of things, including the booby scene where the sexual assault occurs.
Yes, let's talk about all three of those.
We mentioned it happening.
Yeah, but in terms of Tanya Roberts or whatever, I believe, was that her name?
Yes.
In terms of the major characters, we didn't really touch on Tanya Roberts as a character yet.
Okay, so before we're getting ahead of ourselves here. So before we encounter Seth and Tal, we have the encounter with the Eagle people, or what we called out the Batmen.
Very too many Batmen.
I think of them as the Batmen.
Is the Batmen. Well, that's what they look like, though. They look like Batmen, even though they're eagle people, which is so bizarre. They have the giant statue of the eagle. He gives him the talisman of the eagle, but then they don't look like eagle-esque in any sort of way. They're just sort of, well, like you said, bat-ish, bat-looking.
I didn't get the eagle people vibe from them. I got the, they worshipped a winged god. It was the C-3PO with the Ewoks thing. That's the vibe I got.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton there. I remember this part being very scary and very cool when I was a kid.
Can it, Goldenrod?
Fair enough. I'll take a second to Star Wars Death if you'd like.
No, I think, Dar lets the dude go, and then the dude tries to escape. This is the other weird part about the Batman is that one of them catches him in his wing things, and then, sort of encapsulates him, and then basically eats him like a flywood, like pours, spits, vomits, some sort of stomach bile all over him, and then slurps it all up like a Slurpee, and then he opens his arms and out come completely stripped bare bones.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. Very, very horror movie-ish in that sequence for sure. Very much the phantasm-y version of the director.
I will give you one credit on the eagle people thing is that all their expressions sort of look like Sam the Eagle from the Muppets.
Fair enough.
They'll sort of have this very serious, knowing sort of stare that they...
Yeah. I liked the stare where the one eagle dude looks at Dar at one point. Maybe it's towards the end of the movie and just kind of gives him
It's at the end when it's like, apparently
nod.
they don't show him flying away, but they show like a camera looking down at Dar and like Dar looking up and like, yeah.
Gives him a little like, what up? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
You mean when the eagle people come to his aid at the end of the film?
At the end, yeah.
Yeah, and he gives him the nod. Yeah, totally.
In the Judd Horde ending.
Just he's like, yo, what up? Yeah, man, thanks, dude. All right, yeah, sick.
One of my best friends growing up just always insisted on calling them the Judd Horde.
The Judd Horde?
Yeah.
That sounds like a mistake you would make when you were 10.
Oh, totally. Is that in reference to anything, or was it just a mispronunciation?
No, it was just his insistence on calling them the Judd Horde.
Yeah, fair enough.
So are we done with the Batman? You guys want to move on to Sacco?
The Batman.
Move on to Sacco. Who's Sacco?
Oh my God! Come on.
Oh, is that the townsperson guy?
That's the guy. Dar saves his daughter from the
Dude, I love that guy.
from the fire pit.
Well, to be fair, the eagle grabs the daughter.
Which was amazing, by the way.
Sort of at Dar's behest.
Oh, absolutely. Dar commanded the eagle to do so.
Yeah.
And then we get that literally half-second shot of the eagle with the child's body.
With like a 6-year-old.
My drink came out of my nose. I laughed so hard at that scene.
It was so bad. So good.
It was pretty terrible.
And then I love Rip Torn's recovery. He's like, see? I told you.
There was something very Gargamel about that scene. I kept envisioning that he was like throwing Smurfs into the fire instead of children, but
I love the Gargamel connection there. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Gargamel, M.A.S.H, Houlihan. There you go.
Yeah, I go by M.A.S.H. I don't really like the name Gargamel.
But my name's really Gargamel, and I hate Smurfs.
Yeah, M.A.S.H is just something people call me, Kind of a nickname, no big deal.
Yeah. Like Tiny or Patches.
Dude, Sacco was amazing.
So, Sacco.
Yeah, sorry, there's a lot going on in this scene. So then he returns the child to Sacco
Under the cover of night.
Yeah, under the cover of the night. And then when Sacco introduces himself, he says, "My name is Sacco. I am Buddy Hackett's brother." Because he looks like Buddy Hackett with a wig on, dude. I'm sorry. Like, he looks exactly like Buddy Hackett.
Yeah, and he's Buddy Hackett-like.
Definitely.
Like, in size and stature and build, all of that.
Mannerism, yeah. All right, so that's Sacco.
Well, I mean,
What else we got?
I thought there was... the only thing I really wanted to say about Sacco was that he looks like Buddy Hackett.
Yeah, and he stole fucking Mo from the Three Stooges' hair wig out of the fucking storage unit. Dude, he comes back later, though, and drops some great stuff where he's just like, Beastmaster, lo and behold, we need your help. Our total lack of an action sequence means I need to tell you to come back to the city. It's just like, all right, dude.
Yes.
He has a lot of that, for
Zed
sure.
and Kiri attack the city, but we don't have the budget for it. Hop into my hay wagon.
And when we are done, we will go and see Lothar of the Hill People. He will aid us.
I, too, walk with a woman.
That's what I was running through my head when he sort of, well, we can use this to segue into the Kiri part, I guess, because that's what I was thinking when he makes his advance on her, quote unquote. I mean, first we see Tanya Roberts get out of the water with no top on. Good times. And then...
Oh, he has Kodo and Podo steal her top as well.
Oh, that's the best, yeah.
Not only is he perving on her from, up on the hill, he decides to make sure she can't put her top back on, because apparently he's enjoying himself quite a bit.
Of course. Because he wants to walk with a woman. And that's what I kept envisioning him saying when he finally gives her the top back. I have longed to walk with a woman. You will be that woman. And then he just starts making out with her. I was like, whoa, dude, easy. Slow your roll, man.
Little light 80s sexual assault on film.
Yeah, a little light sexual assault. Exactly.
I mean, this is a year after Decker does the same thing to his lady friend, so it seems to be of the
to
era.
Rachel.
Rachel, yeah.
And then he tries to kind of win her confidence with the whole trick with the tiger.
I mean, he's being a fucking knucklehead, but I kind of like that she doesn't give into his bullshit, and then it turns out she's kind of like a warrior princess later on. Like, I like that they didn't, like, totally two-dimensional her character.
I did too. And yeah, when she started like using the throwing knives or whatever those little nuggets that she was throwing, those were pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
I love that she just like nopes out while they're like blathering at, like they're mansplaining to each other, and goes down that secret little passage, and then comes back and she's got like her little, she's finally got shoes on, number one. And number two, she's got like the knife and the all that stuff. And they're all just like, huh? It's like, yeah, I'm a badass.
Yeah, that was a weird scene, man. I didn't really like. I was like, oh, okay. Well, there's a secret passage there, I guess, that only she knows about, and then she's not going to tell anybody about it. Like, what was going on with that? That was just odd.
Yeah,
I mean, it was cool, but
they
was
fill in the
weird.
blanks briefly afterwards. But at the time, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Well, what are the blanks? I mean, we know that she's the niece of. We know that she's the niece of Zed.
Kneel before
Which
Zed.
makes her Dar's cousin.
Yeah, well, although it might be,
Whoa.
but it might be from the second woman that is not Dar's mother. Like the half brother. It explains that she was part of like that warrior sect or whatever, the warrior priestess that hung out in the temple. So she knew the temple back to front. That was kind of what I got from it.
Right, but she makes it pretty clear in the beginning that she's a slave.
Yeah, she's enslaved by Zaphod Beeblebrox.
She's enslaved by Gargamel.
Yeah, Gargamel Houlihan.
Okay, yeah, I'm still just more confused, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't think I'm meant to understand some
It's
things.
not
in this
mission
movie,
critical,
clearly.
really here.
No.
Certainly not. Okay, so she possibly is Dar's cousin, which makes the sexual assault kind of gross, even more gross.
But it turns out she's a badass, which is kind of cool.
It's also incest.
Also incest, yes.
And then she like hardcore kills those 3 priest dudes on that raft during that weird fight sequence. She didn't give a fuck. She's like, all right, later, dudes.
We need to lighten the load.
Yeah, you mean with the raft where they cut the giant rope?
Like they're in a hot air balloon or something. Like, I don't know how lightening the load's going to make any difference, but okay.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
Yeah.
I did notice, like, I mean, as great as John Amos is, he definitely clearly is not like a super. I didn't really get from this that he was a super physical actor. He seemed very wooden in the fight scenes.
Oh,
so,
totally.
Like, especially like the raft scene, and then the later on in the pyramid scene when he's fighting. I was like, he's really not. He's not really moving a whole lot. He's not very agile.
I think seeing him standing on the raft like that with his, the presence that he brought to the table really makes me want him to play the Shrike in the Hyperion movie. I think he'd make a good Shrike.
Yeah, I could see that for sure, man. And that's interesting that you bring that up because very shortly after, in and around the section we're talking about, we get the first appearance of what I think was the inspiration for the Shrike, which is those crazy, spike
the
gloved
weird
people,
Kiss backup singers.
The dude with the Kerry King wristbands.
Yeah, totally.
Which is, I was under the impression that that's what they did with the King with Zed. Was they made him into one of those crazy people, but that wasn't the case, right?
Member of the Kiss Army.
Totally. I don't, neither of you answered my question. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't need an answer, and I don't care. But was the guy that they were watching get turned into the Berserker Shrike guy, was that the King? Was that Zed or not?
No, that was just some rando.
No.
Some rando.
Yeah, it was like an Ice Pirates kind of thing.
Okay.
He was just there for the exposition about how they create the Kiss Army,
or the prototype for the Shrikes, right?
Yeah,
the Berserkers, whatever they are.
Which we already established, and you actually made the connection and established that the Shrikes were the proto Shrikes anyway. We made the connection with Kiss in the Endymion episode because you were saying that his armor in the Destroyer album is very Shrike-esque.
Yeah, his brother Gene Simmons.
Yeah, inspired by his bro.
Totally.
Yeah.
Bro. All right, so let's just, why don't we just come down? We've kind of come to the end of the movie. There's not really much more we could go on about. I mean, I'm sure there is, but we're not going to. We did, of course, mention that this film is confounding in the sense that it has 4 different endings, really. We're not going to dive into too much more detail about that. I think just kind of hitting some bits and bobs, like notable lines, scenes, moments in the film, since we've been doing that lately, and I'll lead it off.
Yeah, let's do that.
Now, of course, some of these are gripes of Kev, as you may have imagined.
Naturally, yeah.
He sends the eagle off at one point in the nighttime, but when we see the eagle's vision, it's day, like clear as day. I was like, what is up with that? Yeah, it's gripe of Kev, but it's also sort of logically weird in the movie.
Was it one of those like daytime, nighttime shots where they like make it look like it's night, but it's not?
Yeah, I made a note about. I made a note about there is definitely one scene where they do one of those weird, like they did in the 80s. They would shoot in the day and then use like a weird filter to try and make it look like it was night, but it wasn't.
Drop it a couple stops and put a blue filter on it.
Yeah,
exactly. But I did not get that feeling from that particular scene, Ben.
Okay.
Kev gripe noted.
Anybody else? Anybody?
I mean, we really went over all the ones that we've already touched on them as we've been plowing through here. So
yeah, we've touched on a lot of the ones I had. I don't have a ton, just a handful, maybe 2 handfuls.
I've got a single note that just says jump kicks ! The fact that there's like a bunch of jump kicks at the climactic temple top battle, I just loved. I haven't seen a jump kick in a while. He very much like Karate Kid crane kicked a couple of priests up there.
Yeah, definitely, including impaling somebody that drew 0 blood whatsoever. That was the best.
Yeah. There's one great where he stabs one guy like backwards, and it's clearly one of the it goes under the guy's arm.
Oh yeah, dude. I
from the
lost
profile. It looks like it's going through him out of his back. But it's literally just like going under his arm opposite the camera.
Oh, I cracked up at that one. That's like something like you and your buddies do when you're like playing fucking Swords and Sorcery.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so here's another one. When they're hanging out around the campfire at night, right? And they're discussing all these various different things, and John Amos is like, he goes, "Come, we have much planning to do." And I was like, okay, where are you going to go to do this planning? Because you're sitting around a campfire. Like, it's not like you're going to go inside the house or to the planning room or the drafting table or whatever.
To the drafting table, of course.
Yeah, naturally.
Maybe that was two gripes of Kev. I have no idea.
It's very grapes of Kevy, and I love it. I love that's like one of the larger plot holes in this one for you.
Yeah, there's another just a great moment,
but the lack of a drafting table.
Yeah, just that there was a lack of a space to go to do the planning, and John Amos was like, "Come, we have much planning to do. We must go see Lothar."
"Come, blind man, let's walk away from the fire."
"We must go see Lothar and my friend Akeem." Then there's on the raft after they cut the rope and they get cruising along the raft, and the kid is like, "Hey, Dar, will you help us overthrow M.A.S.H Houlihan?" And he's like,
"God,
ask your cousin to come and ask me that." And then she comes over and she's like, "What'll it take for you to help us, Dar?" He's like, "I am very busy." Sorry. "I am very busy. A rescue will take much time. Perhaps you could ask Lothar of the Hill People." She's like, "What about this?" And then they just start making out on the boat. I was like, okay, nice.
And the kid's like, "I think he's going to help us."
Yeah, I know, right? That was great.
Looks like it. You mentioned the continued sacrificing of children, but I want to jump on the fact that the only hero to die in this movie is one of the fucking ferrets, which was just hilarious.
Yes, that was. And sad at the same time.
Sad, but like, it's a sad for a 10-year-old sad, Like, they didn't have the cojones to fucking kill off any main character. They're just like, just kill one of the fucking ferrets, whatever.
But then we get the 2 ferret babies at the end, so we know that there's a future with more rascally little cunning thieves.
Couple of orphaned ferrets. Fair enough.
No, one of the ferrets, the surviving ferret was a female. She has twins at the end.
Yeah, but they have no daddy.
Right.
Dar is their daddy.
Fair enough.
They're a happy family.
I would just like to note in the pyramid assault section, that's when we reach, Mark Singer reaches glistening level 3, the final level of glistening.
Do you think that was a balm or an unguent or a...
I'm going to have to go with unguent, Ben.
Is glistening level 3, is this like a Fahrenheit Celsius thing where glistening levels and penic erection levels are actually compatible in some way? Is it like -4 glistens equals 1 penic erection?
There's something there. We just need to figure out the formulation.
Right.
For sure. Because when he's at the gates after his whole village dies, then he takes his shirt off. And shortly thereafter, when he's training with the log, we hit glistening level 1. And then at some point, I don't know if I wrote it down or not, we definitely hit glistening level 2. And then I feel like the pyramid assault is the sort of the ultimate level.
So that's the final level of the penic erection. I want to state for the record that Dawes, D-O-Z, should be the main character's last name.
Dawes. That was so great.
Maybe it should be Zaz. Darzaz.
Your new name is Dardas.
Dardas.
Dardas. Did you guys notice that?
Wait. Were you Jardas, Benny, when we introed Zardoz?
I've introduced him as Jardas numerous times. I don't know if I did it during that episode, but
okay. I like Jardas.
I thought it was Zarhigo.
It was Zarhigo.
Oh shit! It was Zarhigo. Sorry.
All right. Well, similar to how your original continuity Jarhigo, according to me, you're Jardas, and according to Kev, you're Zarhigo.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like quantum.
Now that we've seen this, I'm Darhigo.
There you go.
Oh,
there you go,
man. Duh.
Bada bing.
And let me tell you, I am glistening right now.
You are glistening.
I knew there was a reason we were workshopping that terrible joke, and that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Just tied it all together beautifully. Okay, more of a gripe of Kev category, but did you guys notice the ridiculous, very modern looking pipe on the wall with the very modern looking metal brackets, screwed into the wall? Come on, dude.
Kerry King was trying to smash apart to get at the ferrets.
Exactly. Yes, the very same one. I was
like,
yes,
yeah.
That looks like that should just be in somebody's house. Ridiculous,
dude.
man.
The shit that you get hung up on is so good.
I know you love it, man. I got more too, so get ready.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, the king, not so much in the gripes category, but when the king, before the king gets greased, right before he banishes Dar, he's like, I never really got the impetus or the context of this comment, but he's like, I need no coward by my side. And then they pan around to everybody's face, and everybody just looks confused as hell as to what he's saying, man. And I was confused as hell. So that was just an interesting little scene.
Speaking of that scene, I like how the weird eyeball ring that we never touched on is...
I was just going there.
Okay, cool. You go there then.
You sniped me.
I haven't sniped you yet.
Well, no, just one that the eyeball ring was... It's on the cover of the movie, but it doesn't look like the movie poster. But just the fact that it's weird, and also, is it actually one of Zed's eyes?
Ooh.
Whoa.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That is very interesting.
I like that. I wasn't actually going to snipe you there. I was just going to say that the
or just bringing up the ring.
Well, yeah, but I mean, in the lore of the movie, Ben, the timeline wise, that would make sense because we know that the king has been captured. We don't know he's blind straight away, but we come to find out that he's blind, and then the rings are given out, in sort of the not the future, but after the time leap from Dar, being a boy,
right,
to Dar going on his quest.
Yeah. That's super interesting. I bet you there's a thread there.
How does the kid end up with one?
Because Kodo and Poto stole one. So he stops for. There's a total Lothar moment when they're walking down the path, right? And the tiger finds there's a little sort of trickly stream coming off that tree.
Right. Yeah.
And he is like, "You go ahead. I will stay here and drink from this little stream." And he's holding on to the the roots of the tree, and then like the priests of M.A.S.H Houlihan attack him. And the first thing you see is the one of the priest's hands on the tree with the ring. So in the ensuing battle, because this is right before they meet Seth and Tal, he greases all of them, and he ends up getting help from Seth and Tal to defeat them all, and that's where the ring falls off the priest's hand. The two ferrets pick it up, and it ends up in the bag. And then when he empties the bag out later, the kid is like thumbing through the stones, and he's like, they will take whatever they can get their hands on. That ring, if you fancy it, it can be yours. Take it. Sorry, long-winded answer. Holy shit.
Yeah, yep, I knew all that, but yeah.
But I did explain where it came from. The ferrets took it.
I was just wondering, like, I couldn't remember, like, when, because the bald priest that is trying to kill Dar is wearing the ring because, like, in the other room there's M.A.S.H and the Butterface witch, and he's like, he is the unborn one. Kill him.
Yep.
Kill him now. Yes, and that's the.
And then, like, the introduction of Seth, et cetera, saving the tiger from the pit, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I
just couldn't remember when the ring came off of the priest's hand and got
in that
into
battle.
The kid's hand.
Yeah, that battle, and then the ferrets pick it up, and then later when he dumps the bag out, you see like the gems and the stones and the little bits of metal, and then the ring is in there, and the kid takes the ring.
But anyways, the reason I was sidecarring onto your nugget there or whatever was the plan. The king's like, here's my plan. We're going to go on the north wall and do this and do that and do this. And then John Amos is like, they know our plan. And they weren't just like, okay, well, let's change it then. They're like, we're sticking to the plan. Okay, dude.
Right. And that's when he takes the stick and puts it in the eyeball.
Which I was waiting for that the entire time.
I know, right? I thought it was going to be like a hot flaming stick.
A hot poker?
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember what I was saying. I think when he gets banished, the king is like, go crawl down a hole with your animals. And then the next scene, we see Dar is crying. Did you guys pick that up?
Yeah, he was very sad. Sad little Dar.
My daddy hates me.
I only have two more notes. That's one of them is that when he gets banished and he's sleeping in the desert, he's sleeping. His head is on the sword. The sword is what he uses for a pillow.
Same with John Amos. He uses his stick as a pillow.
Yeah, I was like, what is up with that? There's got to be very, very uncomfortable.
They didn't have pillows in the Bronze Age? What the fuck?
I know. Can you imagine if they whipped out a My Pillow out of that 6 demon bag he was carrying? That would have been so funny. When you are adventuring around, it can be rough on your back and your neck. That is why I carry a My Pillow in my 6 demon bag.
My Gucci 6 demon bag.
Sorry, my Gucci 6 demon bag, totally. The 6 demon bag by Gucci. Final note that I have is, and this is a great one, is I love in this movie still to this day, it was always one of my favorite things, is when they covered the tar pit in the sand. So the Jun Horde can't tell that it's a tar pit, even though they probably know that the tar was there, which is sort of stupid. But they cover it up so it looks like normal ground. And then the Jun Horde go in it. And then eventually they get to, and the little kid gets shot in the process of lighting the tar on fire. And when they light the tar on fire, it explodes like Hiroshima, dude.
Oh,
it's
totally.
So huge. Like, it probably would have just lit on fire, not like concussively exploded. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was straight up the napalm sequence from Apocalypse Now.
Exactly. It was great.
Nothing like a Bronze Age gasoline explosion.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, that all the stilt houses
much like
were
the
holding
stilted
that
hut
fuel.
at the beginning.
Exactly.
I love that for some reason John Amos was like the construction foreman when they were actually trying to cover the moat up. He's like barking orders at everybody.
I know. I noticed that.
For whatever reason.
He totally had a Brianna Tarth thing going on where she kind of did the same thing in that Night King fucking Winterfell bullshit. It totally reminded me of that episode.
Yeah, he definitely was barking a lot of orders at those people, and he was not doing any helping at all. And I was thinking like, man, these are like these peasants, dude. Their life is so horrible. And here's John Amos just screaming at him like, get this done.
That's where he got his, hard-edged managing skills
His
for
managerial skills.
later endeavors at McDowell's.
I agree.
Fuck
It's funny that Cleo's great-great-great-great-grandfather was Seth McDowell.
Yeah. We've been in my family's been in management for 7 generations.
Let me jot that down as a death. Hold on.
No, that wasn't a death, man. That was good.
No, not a death?
No,
Okay.
no. I liked it.
All right. Okay.
I had already posited a theory about that earlier, but
Oh, you did? Sorry. My bad. We'll have to just cut that right out.
I heard you, Benny. I thought he was riffing on what you said.
I didn't.
well, earlier I was positing that Seth was actually Cleo McDowell in his business school days, and the outfit that he was wearing
that's
was
right.
a stripper outfit, and that's what he was using to pay for
Yeah,
business
that's right.
school.
That's right. So it was a little bit different.
A little different, but yeah.
I like that. That's where he learned his hard edge management skills. It's been passed down for 7 generations.
Mm-hmm.
Good times, man. So, does anybody else have any little moments, bits, bobs, whatever, or should we move on to the NDR?
The only thing that, just to say out loud, it's not really a moment, but I really loved the piss poor Mad Max Jun Overlord weird ass weapon bullshit fight. That was pretty cool at the end.
Oh, you mean between Dar and the leader of the Jun Horde?
Yeah, and like Dar like knocks the dude onto his giant weird like axe mace thing, and then the dude tries to grab it out of his back, and it's just fucking hilarious.
I love that the Jun Horde leader, his helmet sort of looked like somebody adorned a hockey mask.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a hockey mask.
And then at some point, Dar slices off one of the bat wings on his fucking helmet, and it's supposed to be like, "Oh, whoa!"
And he's
raising the
pissed.
stakes.
Yes,
Like, I think I wouldn't give a shit. It was a great little fight sequence. I liked it, and by great I mean terrible.
Oh, no doubt.
greatly terrible. Yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but I think we can leave it here.
Yeah, I'm sure I am too, but so what?
Nuggets deaths ratings.
Definitely covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, nuggets. I only have one. I really only have one nugget. I don't know about you guys.
I got 2.
Benny, I recuse myself from the
Unasked the
nuggets
question.
Unasked the question. So it's Mew. All right. Chad, you go first.
A very weird nugget, but in that podcast interview, Mark Singer mentions that he went on to become a writer on the soap opera The Young and the Restless, which I thought was kind of random.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okie dokie.
But just thinking of the Beastmaster, like sitting down in the writing room in his costume, like writing a soap opera, made me chuckle.
Yeah. And then like his inner monologue is like the Lothar voice.
Exactly. We could go somewhere with this.
Glistening and leaving like fingerprints all over the
Yeah.
all over the copy.
Totally.
So he's like writing it. And he's in his head, and his monologue is, and then Buffy says to Cliff, "I would like to go out on a date with you." Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, precisely. Very random, weird nugget, but there it is. There's one of my 2.
That is weird. What's your other one?
Oh, the cinematographer on this worked with Kubrick and shot Barry Lyndon and The Shining.
Wow.
Some serious pedigree there.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the way it was shot, because it was actually well shot, you know.
Yeah.
Like I said, like the sets were great, you know, the cinematography was good. The miniatures were good. Like there was a lot of really good things going on.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot to this that gives it the heart that makes it enjoyable, for sure.
That so many fans love that it's become a cult
But
favorite.
I was pretty surprised to hear that, you know, one of Kubrick's right-hand people was in charge of this one.
Yeah, totally. I know this movie's got a lot of weird anomalies like that. I remembered another nugget, so I actually have 2, and one of them is sort of semi-related. Is that the musical score was actually pretty good in this, and the nugget is that they released a 1,200 limit run of an ultimate edition of this score that has 2 discs, each with over 20 tracks.
Shit.
Which blew me away.
Like back in the day on vinyl, or like recently?
No, I think on CD, because this was, I mean, probably this happened later, like the end of the 80s into the 90s, because CDs came in around, what, like 88 or 89?
Yeah, late 80s, I think.
Yeah, so they probably did a re-release Ultimate Edition, and I thought that was interesting, that this movie would have like an Ultimate Edition soundtrack with like literally over 45 total tracks.
Did anybody else notice that the main theme kind of sounded a little bit like the Battlestar Galactica theme?
I heard someone say something like
Battlestar
that.
Galactica theme.
The original, yeah.
It does a little bit, yeah.
That's all.
Benny Nugget, over and out.
Not even really a nugget.
Yeah, it was a good tidbit, though. My final nugget, which is a good nugget, is we talked about, Chad brought up the Butterface witches, right? So, and I had commented about how when they do the pan up, like, you know, you see this body, it's like, you know, she's got a really sexy body. And I was like, so in my sort of digging around, looking at the cast and all that, I found out that one of those witches who definitely had a sexy bod was Janet Jones, who was a major 80s babe and ended up marrying Wayne Gretzky. She didn't do much as an actress, but she definitely tried it out. She was a actual gymnast, I believe, in the Olympics. I'm not 100% sure about that. What is so funny?
It's a great nugget. Just picturing this Wayne Gretzky's wife gymnast.
Wayne Gretzky's wife.
Yeah, it's amazing.
No, really.
It's like,
you guys don't know who Janet Jones is? You don't remember her from the 80s,
no.
Ben? Oh, my God. Well, she was in Police Academy 5. She had a major part in that. And then she did another terrible 80s movie that me and my brother absolutely love, even though it's just completely absurd, which is American Anthem. I don't know if you've ever seen that turd, but
I don't know.
That's a steamer for sure. But anyway, it was interesting to me that one of these witches was played by Janet Jones, and I will send forth a photograph of her if you haven't already looked it up.
No, I haven't. I actually just remembered an additional nugget where Tanya Roberts did a Playboy centerfold to promote this movie.
Yeah, Ben and I were discussing that when you took a break before.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's such a random role, man, the witch women.
I know, right? I thought it was super weird when I saw that.
It's a good nugget.
Wow, really?
I like it.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right, it'll take a half an hour to get through the deaths tonight.
Well, yeah, it's definitely robust.
Let's see. I died doing a terrible likeness of
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine,
Trying
to describe the Batman.
I like that you Batman deathed yourself. That's the first.
That was, yeah, and I Batman deathed myself, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like a double death, a double down.
Yeah, all right, so here's what I got, man. All right, Chad, you let it off with that pretty terrible oil of Olay joke.
Yep, I did.
Yeah.
Which
That
was
was bad.
great in its terribleness.
Can't all be gems.
No, they can't. And then, Benny, you followed that up with you used the term, which I really like, super died. You said, oh, and then I super died when I did that crappy Michael Caine impression after the Batman reference. Chad ejected on the stilt houses, and then Chad and I both died. Star Wars death, mentioning how the witches disappeared and the robes just dropped to the ground like Jedis.
Oh, yeah.
Chad then died again, thinking that Famke Janssen was Mystique in the X-Men, which was pretty nerd egregious, if you ask me.
Fuck those movies.
Nah. He hates them.
They all
I had a horrible death when I died with the Enrico Palazzo death.
Dude,
man,
that was good. I like that.
That was really good. I thought the kid's name was Meeno Paluzzo, and I still don't even know if that's right. And Chad said, no, it was Enrico Palazzo, and I bought it hook, line, and sinker, man. Well done, dude. Ooh, then Chad died using the super annoying term pod for our show.
That was probably my worst death in the history of this show.
Yeah. I don't know. This next one's pretty good, dude. You died saying Cleo McDowell's name was Ubi McDougal.
Yeah, I just kind of made a bunch of shit up.
But then you redeemed yourself with the MiG-10 comment. That was great.
Dude, the MiG-10 was good shit.
Oh, the MiG-10 was great. That was great, for sure.
But, as discovered with a friend of the show, Vince, you can't resurrect yourself.
No, you cannot. As you said, this is not a show about being resurrected from death. It's a show about deaths.
Yeah. It's not in this episode, everybody fucking lives.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, and to I'll use that as a segue into your next death, Chad, because that was an ejection death on the Seagram's website. Man, you won the day, man. You are
today.
You did. You out ejected me and you out died me. This is the this show. I'm gonna say I'm just doing a quick glance at my death tallies here.
Might be an all time.
It might be. Hang on. So we got you ejected on Seagram's, and then Ben ejected on the McDowell's Google thing, which was great. Unless there's some in there that I didn't catch, and I thought I try to be pretty thorough. This might be the most deaths in a show, and is definitely probably the most Chad deaths in a show.
Hey, I'm down. I'm here to entertain.
You died 8 times, man.
Bada bing.
Good times. All right, so that's the deaths. Let's rate this movie.
You go first.
Me?
Sure.
Oof, what to say about a masterpiece like this? It's got nostalgia factor. They were really trying hard to make a great movie here, and you can clearly see that. And you can see where the money went, and you can see where it didn't go. It definitely did not go into the fight choreography, but I would say just all in all things being equal, wrapped up into one, this movie is like a cult classic. Hey, Beastmaster's on. You know, all of that stuff. Like, you gotta love this movie. You can't not love it. It's just great. It's great because it's cheesy, and it's great because it's great. And it's great because it's Singer, you know? Plus Amos, Rip Torn, like, it's awesome, man. I'm going to give this movie an 8.
Nice. It just got
8.
bonged.
I like it.
Whoa.
Yeah, the Gripe Engine. The Gripe Engine gives it an 8.
I just ejected during ratings because I found
A
while
side
you were mentioning Janet Jones, I was looking her up and I found a picture of her with side ass, so I thought I had to include it.
Oh, meta.
You
Very
sending
meta.
us said picture?
Yeah,
What's that?
It's in WhatsApp.
It's in
Are you sending
it's
it?
in the WhatsApp.
All right, this one for me,
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Very similar kind of level of enjoyment as Ice Pirates, as I mentioned earlier. It's got 1,000,001 faults, which kind of puts it into borderline territory for me, but that doesn't mean I think it's a bad film. Well, maybe I should say it is a bad film, but it doesn't mean it's not an enjoyable film.
Yeah, totally.
I was kind of checking out the algorithm, and as discussed earlier, the bottom end of the algorithm is pretty beat up just because I've never really rated non-great films, so it's full of all the weird shit that we've done. But I like this better than like some of our recent stuff like Raw Deal, Die Hard 2, Out for Justice, Ice Pirates, etc., etc. But it's just comes right under Cobra for me. I just don't think I can put it above Cobra. So it's a 4.1.
I wouldn't put this above Cobra either.
Yeah, I just can't quite do it. But it is better than Die Hard 2 in my mind. I enjoyed Die Hard 2, but it's just more fun. And it's a little bit of a tough break for Raw Deal, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. I definitely think it's worth a rewatch, and I enjoyed it a lot, and appreciate you guys bringing it to the table.
Right on, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed the romp.
Nice.
You still looking at side ass, Benny?
This movie, for the side ass alone, it's worth the price of admission.
No doubt.
I'm not lying. I must have seen this movie hundreds of times
Really?
Same here.
back in the day. Although I really haven't watched it in a long time. It's up there in the pantheon of all those awesome 80s fantasy movies. From Conan to fucking Lady Hawk. And it's up there at the top. When I was a kid, this was definitely a 10 for me. But as an adult and having seen it in quite some time, it's lost a little bit of its charm, but it's still a great watch. It's well worth watching. I'm going to give this one a 7.5.
Nice.
And no improbability drive.
7.5 assless tunics.
I like it. Side ass tunics.
It gets
But
all
it's-
the side ass.
It gets all the side ass.
Nice. That was good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed watching that, revisiting that gem from my early days.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, this was an oft requested one. I think Rye requested this and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, a few
too.
people have, yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed that, folks. It was a joy for us to do it. Algorithm, what do we have going on next week? Is it time already?
It is time. Next week we are following up with our top 5 of 2020. We did one last year, and it is that time again.
I love it. I can't wait.
And to be clear, the top 5 is top 5 anythings that each of us wants to bring to the table. So it
literally,
it's like it doesn't make any sense, and like it's not top 5 episodes or any of that kind of bullshit. It's just anything we want to bring to the table that we enjoyed this year, and we round robin it, and it's fun. And that is where Bruce's came from.
That is, yes, that's true. That is true. Okay, well there you go, folks. Stay tuned for that next week. Hope you enjoyed Beastmaster, and that's it. We'll see you on another time.
Caca. I can't do his beast thing that well.
Oh, wow. The eagle call? Yeah.
Yeah, can you do one?
No, not happening.
That's pretty good.
That was okay.
No, not happening.
That's totally sick. We gotta keep
solid
those.
try, though, dude. You gotta tie your hat. You gotta toss the hat in the ring. All right, and that's going to wrap up this week's show, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can find the show notes for this episode, your podcast app of choice, or at our website, ebd.fm/episodes/87. If you'd like to support the show, folks, there are a number of great ways that you can do that. One of the best ways is to rate us and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you can rate us. A lot of you have asked us how you can, help out the show, contribute to the show. And we have a Patreon now, and you can find that patreon.com/EBD podcast, so you can support us there. You can also tell a friend to check out the show. This is another great way to support us, folks. Everybody's got at least one friend. I only have one, because these two don't even like me.
No.
And that one friend, I would tell to check out this show. In fact, I have. Also, you can follow us on most social media platforms where we use the handle @EBD Podcast. So please jump in, join in on the conversation. Thanks again for joining us for Beastmaster. Folks, stay tuned next week for Top 5 of 2020. And we'll see you on another time. Thanks again.